expect to see this on a globe? Hell yes, of course I would. Would I expect to see it on a flat earth? No. And all I'm going to be asking Flatzoid is the same thing. Are you honest enough to say, yes, if the earth was a globe, that's exactly what we would expect to see? Then we might look at some wind turbines. Whoops, what's going on here? Not these wind turbines, because these wind turbines were taken from a website I found about a future wind farm. These are CGI wind turbines put on for a picture for a future wind farm, because that's not actually what real wind farms look like. Real wind farms look like this. Would I expect to see this on a globe? Hell yes, of course I would expect to see this globe. And I will be asking Flatzoid in the debate, would you expect to see that on a globe? And I am expecting an honest answer of yes. And if I don't get an honest answer of yes, if I hear somebody say no, I wouldn't expect to see that on a globe, then we're going to really start to examine the honesty of the flat earther. Because that is exactly what you'd expect to see on a globe. Would I expect to see that on a flat earth? Underwater wind turbines stirring up the fish? No, I would not. So I will absolutely 100% be asking Flatzoid and holding his feet to fire, would he expect to see that? Yes or no? Be honest. Would I expect to see this on a globe? Hell yes, of course I would. Would I expect to see it on a flat earth? No. And all I'm going to be asking Flatzoid is the same thing. Are you honest enough to say, yes, if the earth was a globe, that's exactly what we would expect to see? Or are you going to somehow try and avoid answering the question? Would I expect to see that, an underwater city and half the sun underwater on a globe? Hell yes, that is exactly what I expect to see on a globe. Would I expect to see it on a flat earth? No. But I will be asking Flatzoid directly, would you expect to see that on a globe? And we will see whether Flatzoid can be honest and say, yes, that is it. You know, if the earth was a globe, you'd expect to see that. Or whether he won't be able to bring himself to say, yes, that's exactly what you'll be able to see on a globe. Expect to see this if the earth was a globe? Hell yes, of course I would. And I'll be asking Flatzoid this question. If the earth was a globe, would you expect to see that? And obviously anybody who is looking at half an oil rig missing behind an horizon would say, yeah, that's exactly what you'd expect to see if the earth was a globe. Not this, right, where they look like they've been melted. Any flat earther who's bringing this temporary image as their primary source, rather than what it normally looks like, is being dishonest. Right, this is what I would expect to see on a globe with refraction. If you can show me that picture without any refraction whatsoever, then maybe we can start talking about flat earth. Would you expect to see on a flat earth 200 meters of missing mountain? No, you wouldn't. You would expect to see that exactly on a globe. And again, I'll be asking Flatzoid, is this what you'd expect to see on a globe? Hundreds of meters of mountain below sea level. Because if you've never been to Blackpool, this is the big one here. My family have just come back from Blackpool. You're on the sea. You know, we're literally just above sea level here. 200 meters of mountain below that sea level. That's all been gone into before.
Let's see how it gets obstructed by the flat surface. I'm above the surface at the back. Hence, where's the bottom of that bolt? Oh shit, I thought it's not impossible on a flat surface. First, we have to establish what we observe and how we interpret what we see. Our perspective is the main driving force on how we deduce the reality presented to us. From the age of having understanding, you are bombarded with a worldview that's foundations is rooted in having a perspective on life that is set to you. This means that you are shown images, art, and fed narratives of the globe that is reality. You are taught to just accept it, and what taught in schools and institutions is just fact. You are not taught to think for your own and take logical deduction to what is presented as reality. When you open a book, you see a globe. When you turn on the television, you see a globe. You get songs of space and travel and fantasy way beyond one's imagination. You are conditioned to trust the government and to trust any authoritative figure. When you were in school, did the education system teach you how to think logically, or to accept the narrative based on the proposition that it is logic? Let's take a look at an example. When you are sitting, lying down or standing at this moment in time, do you experience any movement of the ground beneath your feet? We are taken to a faith-based deduction on what we are taught, not what you observe. We are told the earth is moving under our feet. We are told that we should not experience the movement because of its magnolitic size. Is this what we really observe? When you look outside, what do you see? Do you see the sky moving overhead, or do you perceive the ground and yourself to be moving? You see, this perception is based on your programming. You observe no movement, but you just accept it to be moving. You observe the sky to be moving, but you just accept it as a trick of your eyes. It's the ground moving. Or you are not taught that it was the ground moving, you would even come to this conclusion. Would you come to this conclusion if you were taught it was not the ground moving? You are hardwired to follow the perspective prescribed to you without question. So this brings to me my first evidence for Flat Earth. Yes, I am labeled the Flat Earther, all because of the Flat Earth Society. I tell you now, I live on a stationary horizontal plane. Even though we get all fed and controlled opposition narrative based on upward accelerating space pizza, which is nonsense, I boldly take the Flat Earth stigma, all because I know I would rather trust my senses than trust the worldview based on faith rooted in a religion of Jesuits. So evidence number one, we experience a stationary plane. We do not experience the movement of the ground, but the sky above us. Now the opponents will bring up man-made mechanisms like the focal pendulum to appease their correlations. This unfortunately is the puddle we sit in. The globe is based on faith and is trenched in pseudoscience, masquerading as science, just to fit the correlative bias. Evidence number two, the globe first has to assume after measurements are based off of a horizontal plane. We can observe daily that the horizontal is only optical and far surpasses the narrative of the set radius for the globe. We can demonstrate things vanishing bottom up on flat surfaces, hence on my channel many times and many others, with angles that are limited and other optical phenomena like refraction and so forth. It's all optical and can be shown to be this every day. The curve, however, must be geographic, and this is set physically. This means it has no room to change. As soon as you evoke optical effects that change the geometry of the so-called heliocentric model, you have thrown the heliocentric radius under the bus. Hence the black swan. Also note why my so-called 11 frames is such a devastating argument. I love when the globe defenders bring it up because it's a concession that the curve is not physical, but only optical. Hence removing the inferior mirage is cry that I took away the curve. The measurements are then calculated into the globe from the horizontal and stationary measurements. So if it was a globe, why then would we first measure the stationary horizontal plane to then transform it into a globe? Why then would you require calculations like the Haversine formula if it was a globe? What is level? Well, when we look at definitions of level, we see it means flat, horizontal, no curve with no part higher or lower. Yet, we still find a contradiction creeping in some translations like the Merriam-Webster dictionary. After stating that it is flat, horizontal and not curving, still at the end tells us to have the balls to level is a curve of the earth. If you do not see the contradiction, then I'm afraid you have successfully been indoctrinated. Places we observe to be flat. Large bodies of water at rest, like the Suez Canal, many thousands of kilometers of level water. Or how about the Nile River that flows only one direction, that is also level and contradicts having a new tangent going down from your feet at every direction? Or how about many salt flats or the railways that show no curve? Evidence number three would be the fact we have gas pressure. How does this apply? Well, simply first, what is gas pressure? It's the force exerted by the gas on the surface of a container, surface wall of a container. Now we get to the argument, but we have pressure gradients. Where is your container? That's so dishonest. We also get fed the spoon-fed of faith-based gravity. The contradictions of gravity faces the fact that it has never been anything other than correlative based and is enough to point out something supported by natural law, which is flat earth based. Flat earth based is based on the second law of thermodynamics and doesn't violate it. Gravity violates that. We can demonstrate every day you require containment to have gas pressure, and we can demonstrate gas pressure gradients based on the behavior of gas in containment. Gravity is not seen as a force and thus invalidates F equals ma to compound the argument that it is a force held to hold gas down. I have yet to see any demonstration of gravity hold down gas inevitably. I, however, have seen the countless demonstration of gas being brought in containment, then dispersing into the surrounding system. While I hope I made it clear to you that based on my perspective, that evidence is very clear why I say it's a stationary horizontal plane. I hope you really understood these statements and take deep thought into how you perceive reality, as it's all based on how you choose to be honest with yourself. Thank you. And I can also, wait, maybe I can show you observations of doing bottom-up obstruction, because you seem to forget every time I do this. Let's go look at my channel again, where I show bottom-up obstruction, where we do it over and over and over. Hence I even show sun setting on a flat earth for Mattoon. Very weird how we get that right, but it's impossible on a flat earth. Explaining eye level and horizon on a flat earth. How much time do we have left? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm giving you your cues. It's 2.5 minutes.
Okay, cool. Bottom-up obstruction. Let's see this thing. This is another bottom-up obstruction I did because I can actually do demonstrations. Hence, even gas pressure without containment. Your atmospheric pressure. What is gas pressure comprised? What is gas comprised of? The atmosphere. As far as I know, it's gas. And gas pressure is the force exerted on the container. Very simple stuff. Okay, let's try and forward this. Where I show it's just optical. Look at that. They're showing it different things. These are all demonstrations I've actually done showing bottom-up obstruction. This one is a killer though. You might want to sit back for this one, Catz. Okay. Stay tuned. Okay, we're not going to play music, obviously. You see, this is just the one nut showing there. I just want to quickly forward a bit so we can get to where it's actually showing bottom-up obstruction on the flat surface. Very odd. Now this is an actual aluminium flat bar. It is totally 100% flat and straight. There's no bounces or curves or anything to it. Let's see how it gets obstructed by the flat surface. I'm above the surface at the back. Hence, where's the bottom of that bolt? Oh shit. I thought it's not impossible on a flat surface. Now, did I ever say you cannot see this on a globe? No, no one's ever said that. The difference is you claiming it always to be physical. It's optical and can be proven time and time and time and time again. So instead of lying out of your ass and saying I'm dishonest, rather you stop being dishonest and showing you misrepresent and pull things out of your ass. Thank you very much.